Alright, welcome to another episode of Novice Kibitzing. We're looking at GM Hikaru versus I am Yoven. So, this is actually the first match. Yoven was playing against So Fluffy, and GM Hikaru came in and into the chat and said, "My turn." So, of course, people want to see Hikaru play, so. Still looks fairly equal. What am I talking about? Black is down material. So white is just looking to trade now that he's material up. Right, so. Okay. The first match goes to Yoven with a Rook versus Bishop Endgame. I have a feeling, oh, okay. So now Hikaru is playing So Fluffy. Okay. Very interesting. Now, a lot of times when I'm seeing Hikaru play these short time controls, I'm seeing him almost always with a space advantage. So, okay, just making it a little bit harder for black to castle here. So. Uh-oh. Looks like this knight is trapped. So. Okay. Quick resignation here. So the reason black doesn't mind white taking is because if white takes, black gets a rook on a semi-open file. And it's the same idea here, although white still may castle this way. White can really castle on either side. Okay. But now, is an H-pawn march coming? Okay, yes. So, now Hikaru's just hoping to kind of bust open the position around white's king and perhaps move the bishop somewhere and double up these rooks. So he just has an assault on the H-file. Okay, white blocking that idea. But G5, is this possible? Ah. But, so with the idea being this and also opening the H-file again, but I was thinking if F3, bishop back, black may have some compensation for the fact that it's not really a waste of tempo because it's kind of weakening around white's king's position. It's hard to say though. Actually, if F3, maybe even just queen takes G3, now that I think about it. Okay, white allowing this opening up of the H-file. Very interesting. Okay, now black's intending to just smash this open here, I believe. Very interesting. Oh, okay. This looks very deadly for for white here. I mean, the king can't escape, and where does this knight go? This knight is trapped. This knight is trapped, so the point being, if the king goes here, this is check 8, and if he goes to the other side, black could have taken the rook without worrying about another rook check. Okay, so Hikaru going for the CDE pawn, just pushing pawns out, getting some space in the center. Even more space with D5. Black is taking a think here, so I think he's thinking about developing. Okay, so he's going for an A pawn march. What does this do? I'm not really sure B4 was on, so I'm not really sure. This is keeping the knight out of G4 and also potentially leaving a flight square if white decides to castle kingside. This looks like a nice position for white, but it looks like black has still has some developing to do. Looks a little bit tangled up here. Knight on E8. Rook's not connected. King position a little bit compromised. Where is this knight going? This knight going to H5? No, that doesn't do anything. If bishop takes, then this knight can go to H5. Sorry, H4. H4. Otherwise, this is a potentially strong knight coming to C7 and then E6. Okay, I mean, looks like black gets his material back, but I still really like this knight. I like this knight C7 to E6. And then when the queen is on E6, say after bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. Okay, maybe that's too many trades. Never mind. I was gonna say after queen was on E6, perhaps the knight could go to H4 and target this F pawn. I assume black is going to lock this up, yes. So really the only action is here on the king side. Although this knight can still get in. Notice black's queen has no way to infiltrate here due to this knight, knight, bishop, queen, rook. Pretty cool. Looks like this rook is trapped. Yeah. Okay. Don't know what the name of this move by black is. It looks like a Queen's Indian or something like that. I don't know if this is the Queen's Indian. Sorry. Interesting. So can't white play bishop? No. Can't play bishop e4 because bishop takes. Or even just leaving the bishop here. This knight is pinned. That's the point. Now, does black go knight f6 first, or does he just take the rook? Okay, knight f6 first. Gaining a tempo on the queen here. Ah, this prevents white from castling. Wait, can white even white can't castle? What am I talking about? Okay. Okay, so Samurai Chessman says this is the English defense, so it's a correction of what I said earlier. Whoa. What? Huh? Wow. Uh, even after that bishop move, I just did not see what was gonna happen. That was like crazy. I'm gonna have to watch that again. It looks like Hikaru is opting for a more solid pawn structure here. Right. And this just wins, what, a pawn? Or something more. Well, can't. No. The point is if black takes, white recaptures and hits the queen with tempo. This is tricky. This is very tricky. I believe white is threatening bishop takes followed by queen takes after queen recaptures. So black is going to have to address that. Really? Ah, even better. Well, I'm not sure if this is better. It probably is. What am I talking about? Of course it is. Hikaru not worried about this pin at the moment. Interesting. So is this coming, or eventually, or is swinging the rook more important? Okay. These pawns look dangerous. These pawns look dangerous. Okay, so basically forcing black to take, or... Okay. Wow. Wow. I mean, isn't just... Right, isn't b6 just winning? Yeah. The point is, those connected pawns were just too powerful. Black would have had to give up more material in order to stop him. Okay. Alright, black just looking for a queenside expansion. This is where his space is. So I imagine he may start routing pieces here. Maybe the knight. Or maybe he'll route the knight somewhere, either c6 or... Right. I wasn't sure if he was going to bring his f knight to the queenside or develop his b knight and double the rooks and try and just crash through with a4. I think a4 is probably close to being on the cards here. But black hasn't really committed to... I mean, he's not forced to attack on the queen side. His knights are still pretty centralized. Okay, so the point is if black takes, then bishop takes, I believe. Ah. Wow. Black developing his pieces with tempo to better squares. I think improving your pieces with tempo is definitely a good way to go. I was actually thinking like queen b2 with this a pawn being unprotected, but wow, this is nice. This queen is totally out of it here. Now this pawn is hit. Looks like black wants to get off this sensitive diagonal in case of a check. Not immediately, but probably later on. Okay, the threat here is probably kicking this knight somehow, and then throwing this check in. Actually, is this check even a problem? Maybe the check isn't a problem right now. It looks like black is using this knight to basically disconnect white's queen from its other pieces. It's pretty cool. Is there a perpetual here, or no? Black went to f8 instead of g8. Tricky. Check or no? And that's resign. Hmm. And the knight can't take because it's pinned at the moment. Right, just e4 protecting the d pawn, and ah yes, this bishop has a nice outpost potentially on c6. Oops, sorry about that. Looks like someone was revving a motorcycle outside. So I'm wondering if white even needs a castle. Does white need a castle here, or... Yeah, maybe. Maybe just to connect rooks. But... yeah. Okay. Is this pawn hanging or? Okay. Yeah, really, there's no way to defend this. Well, yeah, there's no way to defend this. This pawn drops. This is probably it's probably close to a resign. Oh wow. Wow. And how does black stop this pawn? If the knight moves, it just it gets captured. So queen b7? No. Wow. I thought queen b7 would get it for sure. Sorry, queen a7. Well, I can force a queen trade and then it's just game over. Okay. I think we'll watch to 10, and I think that'll be enough. Once again, Hikaru gaining some queenside space as black here. Now, okay. So now black has the opportunity to either swing his rook to b8 or double on the a file. But black is probably going to be primarily playing on the queen side now that things have opened up. And there's still a slight space advantage this way as well. Now we see the bishop covers this pawn as well as these other key dark squares, so maybe black sinks the knight into d4 just to create connected pawns here. Black doesn't have to focus on these two pawns quite yet because they're weak, they're isolated and doubled, so not a priority. Right, so he's created the double pawns here, connected pawns, and I'd imagine the rook comes in eventually. Wow, these pawns look very strong. So it looks like white's, at least with that last move, was trying to figure out what to do with his bishop. And I can't say I blame him. I don't know if I'd want to trade rooks here. Maybe just back it up somewhere. Back it up to a7. Okay. And then just get my bishop out, attack the rook with tempo, and then just double and have a good time. Yep, attack rook with tempo and double, right? Or something else. Okay, so there was just a bunch of pressure and not much so fluffy could do. Alright, 2 more games seems like a good place to stop. And hopefully you guys can catch this live next time on chess.com. So fluffy taking a long think here. Okay. Hikaru gaining more space without developing. This is interesting. What is the point? So this bishop is running out of squares here. So h3. Okay. Very nice. Now Hikaru damaging the pawn structure on the A file. And he can pick up this pawn. I was going to say at any time, but he decided to pick it up right then. So take, and then another pawn drops. No. He needs the castle because this pawn would have been hanging. Okay. Now I don't see... Okay, developing first. That makes sense. More material. White may have to be careful about this later, but doesn't seem to be a problem now. Perhaps black could go for this. Huh. I was thinking queen b8 would have been a good idea, with the idea of basically queen has to take, and after rook captures, it's a lot of pressure on b2. But I'm not sure those tempos were that important for black there. A lot of pressure. Oh, weakening his king position even more. I don't know about this one. Can't he just take? I think he could have just taken there. Oh no, because knight jumps back to defend. Doesn't win the queen. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this actually looks good for white. So, I mean, usually 2 coordinated rooks is enough to battle a king. Sorry, a queen. So, once these rooks get coordinated, we can assume that white's just better. Okay. I mean, he's probably better regardless. Okay, let's look at one more game here. Lots of pressure on d4. Probably gonna play c3. That's really the only way to defend the pawn, right? Or right, and then queen takes, I believe. Oh, there could be something tactically wrong with queen takes. So. No? Okay. Then just takes, right? Yeah. Takes, and black is up the exchange. Okay. So, I think that's a good place to stop. Actually, I'll break this up, and, you know, that way if people want to just come back and watch another session, then they'll have multiple videos. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Novice Kibitzing, and I'll catch you next time.